This is Good Morning San Diego.
Will distance learning continue even after COVID-19?
Coming up, Board of Education member Mark Powell will be joining us to tell us why he thinks the change might stick around. All that and much more when we come back on Good Morning San Diego. Well, the COVID-19 pandemic has changed the way that schools operate, and many people are wondering if the changes will have a lasting effect. Joining us this morning to talk about the benefits of embracing aspects of distance learning after COVID-19 is Mark Powell from the San Diego County Board of Education. Mark, good to see you once again.
Good morning. How are things?
Things are great. Thank you. I know you're holding up well. I can see you even got dressed nicely for work today.
Yes. I'm in my office here downstairs, and it's actually my kids' classroom. So as soon as I leave, they move downstairs into their classroom.
I love it. Sharing the computer to get the work done. And this is a really important discussion because I'm sure the board is talking about what we've learned from the distance learning we've done so far and what we can utilize in a positive way moving forward. So what are some of the takeaways that board members are discussing about this distance learning?
Well, what we do know is that on or about March 13th, 500,000 students were sent home from school to study at home, and parents were given the responsibility to teach their kids, something that the vast majority were not prepared to do. So quickly, school districts scrambled to implement something called distance learning, which is learning that's not in a classroom. It's a little bit different. Now, a lot of districts met the challenge with great success, some not so successful. But I think now we're all ramped up, and it's something that has changed the course of education from moving forward to something called blended learning. And here's the benefits. For students, it allows students to study at their own pace. Now, keep in mind, I'm not advocating for distance learning to replace traditional education. That should not happen. But it is going to be something that we're going to use in the future to supplement education. And the great thing for teachers is that they can teach anywhere in the world. They can teach from their house. They can teach if they're traveling. They can teach from another country.
Yeah, so it does provide a lot of flexibility. I know you say distance learning could be a supplement to traditional classroom teaching. In what ways do you think this distance learning could be utilized in the future when we're not in a pandemic?
Okay, for example, when you have small group instruction in a classroom, sometimes it's very difficult for a teacher with the time constraints to have that small group instruction. They can have that small group instruction after school, after hours, through Skype, through Zoom, through any one of the other type of technologies that's used by the school district. However, keep in mind, there's some challenges. Not everybody has access to the internet. Now, I know that school districts gave out Chromebooks and they gave out iPads and stuff, but it's kind of like giving somebody a car. If you give somebody a car but they can't afford the gas, it's useless. So we have to think about ways to give everybody high-speed internet, not the regular internet, high-speed, because some families have 3 or 4 kids at home all logged on at the same time. They need that capability. So that's something that we have to look for in the future. But for school districts, district learning, distance learning can be something that's very cost effective, and it can reduce class sizes.
How do you see it addressing the class sizes moving forward?
There are some students that can function in distance learning. They can utilize this as a supplement to either their regular class schedule or to replace actually being in the classroom. So for example, let's say there's an English class and some student says, I would like to take this class online. If you have a class of 40 students and 8 students decide to take the class online, you've just reduced the class size to 32. That makes sense.
Certainly does, and I know we'll be using more of this information as we move forward, and possibly earlier this year if we start early in the next school year. So, Mark Powell, thank you so much.
To our normal traditional school is something that we really need to do. It involves sports and band and music and drama, and we're working hard to get to that place.
Yeah, all of that is so important for our kids. Thank you, Mark. Good to talk to you, and I'm sure we'll be talking
again.
again.
Good luck with the kids.
Absolutely. You too.